Hello and welcome. Welcome to this present, now, and ever expanding moment. I love to welcome you into my awareness, into my field, into my presence, and to be in your presence. Thank you. It has been a while since I've made a share. And just like you, and just like everyone else on this planet, we have been through quite a transformational and transcendent time as we choose as a humanity how we want to live in the remembrance of who we are. As always, when I'm guided to share, I share. And to be honest, there was a few moments over this past few weeks that I had this feeling within me that wanted to share at least something that those that listen to or connect to my channel at least receive. And then I remembered, when the moment is perfect, that which I'm guided to share will be shared, and those that are ready to receive will receive. I remember the last share that I've done. I ended with the words, I am not sure how the next message is going to be. And now I know why I said that. Didn't know at the time. As I share with you now, I'm sharing from my unified, integrated, grounded place within me. And I'm consciously aware that it's different than any of the other shares that I've done. And it feels good. So let me just share what that means for those that perhaps are tuning into this channel for the very first time. Just like everyone else on this most exquisite and beautiful earth plane that we have the honor to be not only living on, but co-creating with that which all of us are remembering in our own unique way. And that is a place and space where everyone knows the whole truth of who we are as a humanity. And what is that? we are all not only part of, but fully interwoven with the one cosmic field of light, the one unified living light field that is eternally present throughout the whole cosmos. One with our Creator, and therefore every word that is moving through me is in co-creation with our Creator. I'm a very practical person. So let me share with you my experience of being so clear about who I am and who you are and who all of us are. We are expressions of this one field of creation, which I got to over this last 4 years intimately experience as a sound field. I remember about 4 years ago when there wasn't this full integration yet, where I was led on this path of gradually integrating this very one cosmic living light sound field through me as my awareness expanded into that. So 4 years ago, I have consciously, now I know it was way before that, but consciously experienced this field of light. And I remember I was sitting in the center of my heart and I saw this field in one single second expanding, like I was sitting in a sun. It's the most simplest way I can explain that. And then the gradual process of knowing that intimately has unfolded as a process of embodying that field of light. And I remember it was a few weeks after that initial experience where I experienced that field as a sound field. And I remember that it was so beautiful. It was as if I was sounding the light of my beingness. And over the past few years, and I'm speaking now in time, space continuum, while simultaneously giving expression to that which is beyond time. So perhaps the very first message to ground is that we are simultaneously eternal beings of light, cosmic light, while simultaneously experiencing a physical body. And to be very clear in what I have remembered is that our light beings animates our physical body. The very sovereignty and the very sovereign magnetism of our light fields and the essence thereof that is anchored in the center of each one of our hearts animates these bodies and therefore magnetizes all the different elemental properties on a very subatomic level, our bodies into being, which all comes from Gaia. So we are in continuous co-creation with Gaia, giving expression and physical form to our body, to this body, so that we can have the experience of, whilst being in physical form, of transforming the very consciousness of what it means to be in physical form. So we are in co-creation with our source of creation, the source of the cosmos, the source of the whole light living field of creation, which is a sound field. Each one of our essences grounded, and through the sovereign magnetism of that, magnetizing the very matter of our body into being, so that we can be in unified presence as we transform the consciousness of what it means to be in a body. So the body of the physical body therefore then becomes the very vessel, the very channel, the instrument, the conduit, the messenger of who we are as a expression of this field of light. That is the first grounding. The second grounding is the word that kept on coming to me over this past 4 weeks is biofield, biophotonic field, which is a torus. And so what is a torus? It's it's like this, but simultaneously, so it's all around us, flowing out like this and flowing in like this. And it flows in, I've experienced it as a flow that circulates light simultaneously in both directions, in all of these dimensions. And I keep hearing that, and was hearing it, seeing it, sensing it, experiencing it. And I've been fully present with that over this past few weeks, in time and simultaneously outside of time. And there's two messages that I would love to share, what I've been seeing, and which I'm now guided to share. The one is around the metaphor of a for those that haven't seen something like this before, and all of you that know exactly what this is a record. So this has come into my field over this last 4 weeks. And then simultaneously, there was this awareness of sound and how sound impacted me. And what I've noticed is I am at peace mostly when there's silence and stillness. I just love that feeling. I feel there's a deeper connection in stillness. And then I've noticed that every time when there's a sound, it takes me out of that field. So the silence and stillness brings me in connection fully with this field. And that's why I say I experience it as a field, and it's silent. And as soon as I hear from externally sounds, it feels like there's something happening to my field. So that's the first share that I want to do. And what I've seen then was record. I started seeing records like this, but stacked on top of each other, mini stacks of records in different places. And I only saw that in my mind. I didn't see it in the rest of my body. And I'm speaking from Suret now, from my human experience. I've noticed in my mind all these stacks of records shown to me. So that's the very first thing. I was very aware that it's shown to me. Then I realized, but it's me in my unified gnosis of who I am, showing it to my human self. And as soon as I saw that, I realized, oh my goodness, all that I've been seeing have been shown by myself all along. And that's the second message I want to share. So the one is on the recording. The second one is around, it's been me all along. And what does that mean? So and when I saw that, I realized, oh my goodness, I've come to a place of remembrance where I'm ready to be simultaneously present with my divine self, my gnosis of who I am as a unified field of light, and the human aspect of myself that has been on quite the path and has always been guided But the shift this time was I realized the guidance that I've been receiving was from myself. And I think that is very important. It is, and if I say myself, if I refer to self, what I refer to is my oneness with the source of all of creation. That one beingness, cosmic beingness of who all of us are and are connected to eternally so. So let me just slow down. So it's two messages. The one is around the symbolism of a record, and the second one is around the two that is one. And so let me just share those two things. That's really coming to the forefront right now. So perhaps to start with the two being one, I think that's probably the place that will make sense why I'm speaking I in two ways. There's a I that knows that I am one with the source of all of creation. And it's who I am and who all of us are. The one unified, living light field that is eternally present. And as a essence of that field, my and all others' essences is grounded in the center of our physical bodies, creating our physical bodies. And this essence is unique to each one of us. There's this beautiful blend that we are here to give expression to and through and as this gnosis of being one with the source of all of creation. And then there's a I as a human experience in the process of awakening to, ascending into, and embodying the gnosis of this, and therefore becoming one. And this human aspect, and I'm using this language specifically to give expression to something that is very simple yet so complex that no words can describe it. And this is just my way of putting it into a easily understandable way to understand what I'm sharing as an integrated gnosis of who I am. So this bodily I, which can be referred to the I that I identify with, or the ego that, or the superego, or, you know, all of that refers to this I. And this I is a human construct trying to understand what's going on here. And this human construct of being human has been evolving since the first human form was here. And it's that very construct and consciousness that we are transforming, transfiguring, transcending into the gnosis that we are divine beings of light having a human expression, and the human expression is the vehicle, the channel, the instrument, the conduit that allows this very unified presence to be given expression to ground or anchor or inspire others. I hope that there's clarity when I express it like that. And what I've noticed is this very human construct within this physical body. So just one step back maybe. So our unified one field of creation, which all of us in our essence are in this vessel to transform the very construct of our humanness and the consciousness of that. So our soul is here always. All of us are a soul. Now, whether this body is present here or not, the soul remains here. So this eternal field of light remains here in this space, which is called the cosmos, eternally so. Whether this physical body is here or not, it's eternally here. So our soul's expression and the essence of it magnetizes from Gaia the material to bring our body into form. But we are our soul's essence. We are not our body. Our body, as our soul and our soul's essence, and as this unified field, we animate our body. So we occupy a place so that we can give expression to this very transformation and transcendence of human consciousness, which used to be a belief that we are humans with a soul. We are souls that give expression to a body. And so what I've seen is that as this human construct within me, so what I have shown my human self, maybe that's an easier way to explain it. What I have shown my human aspect is that there's a construct that was formed over the evolution of being human. And then what I've seen is all the different experiences ever had, ever, if I say ever, is since the moment of creation of a human form, every experience ever had is recorded as a story. And I, as my unified presence, has shown to my human all the recordings ever made. And remember, this is not the very first time that the soul's expression of who I am are in a physical body. Been in many bodies and are simultaneously now in many bodies on this earthly realm. And all of those stories are recorded. And therefore I identify with it. I, as a human expression, identify with all these stories. And when I saw that, when my human self saw that I'm shown by my divine self, that is what is the experience I'm here to see and therefore transform and therefore now share, is I saw for example, and then I saw there's different stories, and not only in this experience I had in now, but also in my different, and I saw all the stories while it's playing out, being recorded here. So all experiences recorded. So I saw different experiences, and then I saw these records, and I saw all these records then came together, and it formed this little stack. And as I saw this stack of recordings of my experiences, as I became a witness to it, as I saw it, my divine higher self, cosmic self, I saw that my human self, I was seeing that, realizing that, and also seeing how I, as a higher self, transmuted that, and that all those records just dissolved. And then later on, I'm speaking now about this last 4 weeks, and then later on, an experience came into my awareness, and immediately I saw the different experiences and all the different ways it was recorded on records like this. And then again, I saw all the stacks coming together, and with my higher self, expanded gnosis of who I am, dissolving all of that. And it continued for almost a week. And then all of a sudden, the message came that this is a way to share how all recording, how all experiences was ever had is recorded and present in our human mind. And how these experiences are stories we are sharing with each other, and we identify with it. So as that week was unfolding, I also saw the story of an identity that I have had, not only in this physical expression, but all others as well. And I saw all the different stories. I saw all the different identities. I saw all the different experiences. Not in one moment. It happened over about a week's period, but continuously. That was what I was seeing, or what I, as my higher self, was showing my human self. And so first I saw it, and then after a while, I realized, oh, okay, so this is, now I see, now I, my human self, see that I'm guided to be aware of all the different recordings ever made since moment of conception as a human expression, simultaneously as all my expressions. And how, therefore, when there's awareness, how all of that can then be dissolved. And it dissolved, and it dissolved all the different stacks. And I also saw at some stage, I find myself when I went through when a record was playing within my mind, I saw my human self taking so there's a needle, and then it goes around like this. How I saw myself taking the needle off just to stop this, and then choose to, and I saw myself also looking at the label saying, for example, when I was a leadership consultant, and here's all the story that I identify with that was recorded through all the experiences that I have. And how I then stopped it, and I allowed for my higher self to come in and dissolve the story. So sometimes it was individual stories that I stopped. Other times it was texts that I've created and dissolved. And what my higher self also showed me was how sometimes when there's a scratch on a record, it stops and it keeps on playing the one all of the time. And that's there is a saying, actually, you sound like a broken record. It is that. It is when we are stuck in a loop and continuously playing the same recording over and over and over and over again. Okay, I think that is clear. So then I saw how all of these recordings, and there was, trust me, trillions in my mind that I've gradually dissolved, either one by one or then stacks of it. And what was so beautiful is how my higher self has, and I'm speaking here for a very specific reason about higher self and I in human, because it's important. And so then my higher self showed my human self, how does each one of these, as they are playing at the bottom of it, it is linked to an emotion. And if you just take a moment and you think about a musical record that you like, that makes you want to dance, or when that record, if you hear that song playing, you see yourself start dancing. Or there's also songs when you hear that you start crying, or when you hear this song you just feel so good, or when you hear this song you just go to a place of sadness. So then my higher self showed me how each one of these stories are linked into the very experience that was recorded, but I don't know why it was shown that as it was playing here at the bottom, it is linked to an emotion. So every time when this record played, this very emotion was triggered and being felt, and then the body has recorded that together as a felt experience in the body. And I didn't go through all the stories, emotional connections to those stories and identities and recordings. I just went through 2 or 3 until my higher self knew I understood what I'm seeing, experiencing, and the connection between it all. And I was so aware that there was this stories, identities, and physical connection too, because every one of those stories is grounded in a cellular experience and almost trapped there. And I know I've heard that before, trapped emotions. So this whole storyline, the emotional that's behind it, is trapped in this cellular place in our body. And how all of that is connected. And what I've also then been shown by myself is then therefore how all of that can look like or feel like that very recordings of the construct of our experiences and how that was constructed as stories and identities, how that can run this body, or how this very truth of who we are can step forward and navigate this body. So is it old stories, identities, and memories that is animating the very physical experience and keep us in this physical experience? Or is it the light body? And it is most definitely the light body. So I'm bringing awareness that there's a choice to be had to then choose. If I now know this, what do I choose? My higher self asked me, and it wasn't even a question to me. It was a yes, of course. I am ready to be fully one with who I truly am. And all the recordings of all the old stories, identities, and constructions about what it means to be human does not serve the expansion of consciousness, firstly, and secondly, it is time that we give expression to who we truly are and not be stuck in old recordings. So letting this go, because on this very most exquisite living planet, Gaia, that we get to be in co-creation with, the vehicle that gives expression to who we are as cosmic beings of light, is creating, or should I rather say the truth, of co-creating a new home, which is, a home is the very vessel, vehicle, conduit, instrument is the home that we are co-creating in our gnosis of being in constant oneness, in unification with the source of all of creation, and co-creation with the source of creating, co-creating this physical expression as the very divine humans that we are. So that this vessel, this instrument, this body, this conduit is a clear and crystalline and pristine channel of the messages of this oneness, of this beauty and love that we are, this living light that we are. And so the one was about the recording that I wanted to ground. The other one was the experience of self, initially as a human self and then a divine self. To know that the human self is the consciousness about our humanity is the very thing that our divine self is transcending and transforming and unifying in the gnosis of who we truly are. That we are divine humans, all in one unified, eternal, living light field, as the sovereign souls, essence and expressions that has chosen to come into this physical realm, our home, to give expression to this living light that we are. And through this Gnosis and sovereign magnetism, allowing for this living light to regenerate each and every one of our 74 living cells and animate all these cells through our sovereign magnetism. And the absolute perfection and beauty of having a vehicle to give expression to this. And therefore, all old constructs, recordings about the body is something that gets sick and needs to heal. The body is a place where you, all of these things, all of that is what we are transcending, because the truth is we are crystalline light bodies that in every present moment are regenerating the very cells of this physical beings as we are reconnecting all the different centers of each one of our cells to know that there's one coherent expression of form. Grounding that here. Grounding that here. And after going through all of that, now I'm speaking from human aspect, divine aspect as one. So this very words that is now flowing through me is from that Gnosis, that all of those old records and recordings has been dissolved and integrated through the very light essence and expressions that I am. It's the first time that I'm saying this out loud. So I'm just allowing that to ground fully through me. Allowing that to fully ground. Into the very home of my being. And as I've, let's call it, merge my human and divine aspects, then I saw this most exquisite fountain of light flowing out like this. If I say out like this, I mean simultaneously out like this, you know, in this ways, in a full circle around like a fountain, like you're standing as the center of a fountain. So it sprouts out like that in the front, sides, back, and all of that coming in. And then it continues to circulate through, first of all, the essence, and then the unification of the essence of each one of the cells. So all of these fountains. And as I saw it, I heard toric field, the torus. And I remember, oh yes, I've seen that before. Standing in the, so if I've showed this just now, like the toric field like this, and I'm showing it like this because this is where it looks like a fountain at the top, the fountain at the bottom. And in the center here is the center of our hearts. In the toric fields, that's continuously flowing and circulating the living light of the greater toric field of the cosmos. So I've seen in one moment in the center of each one of our cells, there's this place from which this whole toric field is continuously circulating. And then I saw how each organ and all the cells in the organ is forming the organ is forming a toric field within each one of the cells in the organ with their own toric fields throughout the whole body, and the one toric field of this one body. And then I noticed that every single person on the planet has got their own toric field, every animal, every plant, every country, every continent, and then the greater toric field of Gaia. And then the one greater field of our solar system. And then our solar system and our galaxy and all other galaxies with their own toric field. And then the whole universe and all the different universes, their own toric fields, and then the one cosmic toric field. So I saw all of these toric fields, and simultaneously I became aware how all of those are starting to align within me. And I remember at a moment, my human aspect wanted to step forward. And I allowed that, in the knowingness that it needs to be, seen and understood in a very physical way. And as I did and came together again as one, I saw how all the toric fields of my body moved into alignment that created this coherent flow in my physical toric field. And simultaneously saw how then, therefore, the same is occurring for all other human expressions, animals, plants, and then the one field of the earth. And the same for the galaxies and universes, and then the cosmos, as I moved into my cosmic awareness and into expanded into the fullness of my awareness. And as I was looking at, so in my cosmic one, I saw how all the universes and galaxies aligned around my toric field, but I then saw all of that also happening within me, almost like every cell is an aspect of, our solar system, galaxies and universes. But that's a whole different share that I will do at some stage. But for now, just want to keep the focus on the toric fields. So I remember the first time when I moved into this place where I grounded in physical form. As the first time when I drove in, I saw the name of our town, and it said Biosphere. And I remember I looked at it a number of times, and every time when I drive in, I look at that, but didn't make any connection to it. And only last week, when all these recordings were dissolving and this alignment was starting to take place through the different toric fields, I saw that as in me. Not, I wasn't driving in, I was literally in my home, and I see biosphere, biosphere, biosphere. And then I said to myself, bio is biology. What is biology? Biology is about the life or the living organism. And my neighbor is a student of, she's got a doctor's degree in plants. And I thought, so she came into my awareness, and I walked over and I said to her, what does it mean that this place where we are staying is a biosphere? And she shared for me is that the original geology of the environment, so all the different plants that grows here, is like it was since the first time it was here. There was not any other plants introduced to the area, and therefore it's deemed to be a biosphere. So all the original plants in their original expression are here. And so it's this greater living organism around me that is, keep on regenerating and sustaining this whole place. And I said to her, so it's a biosphere. And I said, and then we started a conversation, and I said, but isn't it like the very experience of this Taurus? So I shared with her what I've been seeing, these toric fields. And she said, yes, the biosphere can be like there's a field around the village. I said, so the field around my body and your body, field around the village. And then we started talking about in all the different areas on the planet, how these biospheres are there. And bio literally just means the life or the living energy that continuously moves through it. And I was just so excited with the knowing that, oh my goodness, I live in a biosphere. And then I realized my whole body is also a biosphere, not only my living in it around me, my community, but also my body. This body is a biosphere. And therefore, it's also a biofield, because I've been working with this field of consciousness, and it being a sound field and a biofield and a biosphere, and it all just became so clear to me that our light bodies are biophotonic fields that are consciously not only animating a physical expression and regenerating through the flow of light through our bodies, also regenerating and allowing for all the physical cells to be in constant and coherent flow and circulation with this very life-giving energy or energetic fields or living light fields or sound fields that we are. And so as I'm giving expression to this, also just grounding the gnosis of that through to weave through. Because then I realize bio is then living light, living life, and photons is light. Therefore, the living light fields of who we are, and we are light beings. It's all one. And therefore, we are, through our light bodies, in co-creation with Gaia, not only creating the physical homes, transforming and transcending the consciousness thereof as eternal circulation of light and giving expression to that, but also being in co-creation with Sophia and with each other as we continue to share this with each other, co-creating new homes. Like my physical home here, you are in your physical home, and all our physical homes, biological homes, organic living light homes that we are co-creating, these bodies. Also simultaneously co-creating through the consciousness of that which we are building around us. Like this home that is built here is a brand new building, and all that I've been transforming and transcending, and therefore, emanating and radiating out, is also in the consciousness of these walls, and therefore emanating out to the community. And as each one of us remember this gnosis and this truth for yourselves and ourselves, all of us together, and step into this very into this awareness, a renewed awareness, we are co-creating communities and therefore societies that is built upon the foundations of truth, integrity, sovereignty, beauty, and most importantly, love. Because true love, which is the gnosis of the oneness with the source of creation, which is love, and therefore that very substance or essence of us that is flowing, that has focused us into this physical body and co-creating this body with Gaia, all through all of that I've just been sharing, therefore grounding love. So that we live as, serve as, co-create with, through, and as that living love that we are, that living light bodies that we are. So every single cell is therefore love. Because so coming back to sound, in silence and in stillness, I experience the sound field so exquisitely flowing through. And I find myself hearing, I hear that how, as those words are flowing through me, It feels loving and caring. It soothes my body as this life, living light and life flows through my cells. So I'm the very light of my being, and the quality of love that flows through it is experienced by each one of my 74 trillion cells. And therefore, when others then come into my field, they feel this love and they feel this care. And simultaneously, I've noticed that as soon as I hear sounds that disturbs the stillness, so when there's movement, when I hear different sounds, I literally feel the impact of that in this body. And then I realized that all of that which I'm hearing is not in coherence with me and my field and my light emanation. And then I realized, oh my goodness, I remember that I've heard, sounds that has created contraction for me as I showed my human self where that originated. And I remember every time that my human self went through a shock, it was me as my higher expression, my unified light being that I am, have contracted in that cell because my physical body, the physical expression contracted and therefore kept that recording of that experience. So with big shocks, there's a contraction and that keeps the light, so there's not circulation and flow. And I've noticed that that shock was either through a external sound or an internal thought that was shocking, that has created that. And as I saw that, as my human saw that again, went back into my unified presence. And that is when I really realized that we are all sound fields. And there's this one cosmic symphony of all the different sounds of the various physical expressions of souls singing that very essence into being. And therefore, all the different essences that singing the essence into being is forming this most exquisite soundscape that gives expression to the cosmos through these sound fields. And I'm sure you've heard many songs before. There are songs that create dissonance or incoherence, contraction. And it also then, all the energy is, trapped there and it dims the light. And I'm sure you've also heard songs or sounds that makes you feel that way. So, allow for the true circulation of living light to flow through and circulate. And the one thing that I do know is that me in my unified expression has chosen to, through the sovereign magnetism of my being, to create this physical body as an expression with this very place in my throat that forms the words that come out to give expression to my soul, and the very way in which this has been created to give expression is being done for this very sound that you are hearing to be heard. And only aspects that is in coherence with that sound, that feels loving and caring, is received, because there's a tone that you are hearing, that you are resonating with. And what is resonance? It is when two sounds resonate, come into balance and harmony and resonance with each other. So when you resonate with the voice and the message, you're actually only resonating with the sound that you are hearing. And when I resonate with others, it's because I hear a tone in their expression that I resonate with. And those resonances is what I refer to as your soul's resonance. It's like your light signature, but in sound. Your soul's resonance is that very sound that is formed through this very physical channel vehicle that not only allows to give expression, but to give in its tone through the message to be received, that I either inspire, harmonize, balance with your soul's resonance, so that the true messages of our unified expression is shared, because it's connected to who we are. So the other picture that came in a moment that I saw a, what's that instrument where you blow into it, then there's this long sort of saxophone, a long part, and then it's here at the bottom is and I saw that right through my whole body, and that bottom part being here. And I saw myself blowing on the mouthpiece, and then here going like that on like a trumpet, when you go like that, the different notes. And I saw the note here on my heart, and how this trumpet was, or this saxophone was singing this most exquisite song that wanted to flow through my body, through this body. And I know I've also previously seen myself as a guitar and holding the keys, and and allowing for the strings to play. So there's many examples that can be given, but the message about that is that we are all one unified living field of light, and the very instrument or channel or vessel or portal or door which is the entry into this very beautiful soulscape and soul's expression, or home that we are. It gives expression to this most beautiful cosmic symphony or song. I know I've heard this before, singing all the songs, the souls back home. It is this very soul song of who we are as this crystalline beings of light, cosmic beings of light in this one unified field of consciousness, one field of beingness that's giving expression in our unique way to the very tone and sound to be received, so that we can all just listen to this most exquisite messages of remembrance, of remembering together who we truly are and always have been and always will be. The difference is in this moment, we can consciously remember that we are, as the cosmic light beings that we are, animating a physical channel, vessel, instrument in co-creation with our Creator and in co-creation with Gaia through this very body, and give expression to our soul songs and listen to the different songs. Listen to each other's songs and sing together as one. And just wanting to come back for a moment to biofield, this very living light field, or the biophotonic field, or the sound field for our soulscape, the sound that we are making in coherence with each one of our cells, singing together as our souls give expression to all that we are. Two things I want to share. The first thing is around a record. I just want to share that. And the other one I want to share is around states of matter, because this is material. Our bodies is the very material that we have magnetized through the co-creation of Gaia, the material of our physical form. So what I've seen in a moment that I'm just guided in a moment to share is, if you look at this record, here's a choice. What is the song, your very unique soul's expression, that you want to record? And through doing so, to ground your presence in co-creation with all of us. The difference is this record on which we are recording and therefore recreating a new story of oneness as the divine humans we are. What I've seen is that if you look at this record like this, it is one horizontal plane. And on this one horizontal plane, there are different dimensions. So for example, from year to year, that creates a specific dimension. And if you go a little bit further out, there's a different dimension created. So what if this is all the different dimensions in the cosmos simultaneously as one? And what if this horizontal is simultaneously in all these directions like this, and all these directions like this? What do you see forming? The sphere. One sphere. So this become one field. And you, me and you, standing in the middle of this sphere. Remember now, this is like this and like this. So standing in the middle, all the dimensions of the cosmos simultaneously in all dimensional directions. This one sphere. And then each one of these lines on here, as you can see, are the very organic and living lines between each one of your cells, the center of each one of your cells, the center of each one of our planets, galaxies, and universes, all in our one unified field. The micro, a reflection of the macro. And each one of those, through the cosmic light being that you are, starting to create a new sound through sharing that which you choose to create as the divine human that you are. And together we are all co-creating a new one story. The story of being the living light, cosmic, loving beings that we are. And every sound that you give expression to is creating a new line, a new paragraph, a new page, a new story of what is possible when we all co-create through the gnosis of this and through the love that comes from that and are emanating out as that. And then the plasma is, remember, our what we are receiving from Gaia is the very material that through our sovereign magnetism is coming together as a physical expression as a body. And Gaia has also expanded into, a while back already, but bringing into awareness, into her plasmic, cosmic remembrance of a oneness and co-creation with the source of all of creation. And therefore, remember, there's 4 states of matter. There's 4 states of matter. There's solid, there's liquid, there's gas, and there's plasma. And the very all of those states of matters is within us. States of matter is within us. And as well as, and it's in us because it's in Gaia. And we are in co-creation with her. And her plasmic body is streaming through us as our physical body and the water within us is remembering their plasmic essence as well. As Gaia's remembering, we are remembering. And therefore, remember, as you know, we are all at least 80% water, and that other plasmic water state is plasma, and the plasma water within this physical vehicle, vessel, instrument, body is the way that allows the light to move through this plasma water. So this plasma water and within each one of our cells and most of these bodies is exactly the essence that is allowing for our light to move through in supporting our physical bodies to transform into this most exquisite light beings that we came here to experience ourselves to be. Just grounding that here. And I've experienced that plasma water within me more consciously so over this last 3-4 weeks. And I'm noticing as this light of my being is moving through this water, the resonance of my beingness is acclimating, and therefore grounding in this very most exquisite shift that is occurring. And my, just coming back in closing, that my human aspect that has now received all this gradual remembrances and visions, and not only shown but also heard through this soundscape, all the different dissolving that has happened. It almost feels like the waters have settled, and then therefore the one unified flow through the waters of my light body, giving expression through the sound of voice to ground this Gnosis into being. And that the feeling is very, body experience it as very gentle, loving, peaceful, it almost feels like the integrity of the very cellular structure has been realigned and restored, and the regeneration is now occurring from this very centered place. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being with me, for receiving the messages of what that needed to flow through and be grounded here to be so. And may something that you heard, something that you felt, experienced, remembered, be in a way that allows for you to ground that through your body and home, as a way to always remember more fully, more clearly, more coherently in every new now moment who you truly are. I love you dearly. I love you deeply. And I love you wholeheartedly. And as I'm saying that, I just are guided to share with you, if you speak, if you think, if you in your being, if you're in your being, put your hand on your ear. Just be in your being and feel what you are feeling here. Maybe do this, or maybe do this with both hands on your heart and on your throat. If you're just completely still, what do you feel? And now say out loud a word or two and feel the vibration that you feel in your heart and in your throat. And know that every word that you speak, the vibration in the body of your being doesn't know the words. It hears the vibration. And if you speak calmly, it will feel the vibration of calm. When you speak discoherently, it will feel that. It will feel that vibration. And therefore the water of your body will, go out of coherence. So play a bit with that. I remember now this last week, I was so aware of the vibration that's coming out of this body, and how it impacts the waters of my being, and therefore the waters around me, because all of us are surrounded in this one cosmic field, which is plasma. It's plasma light that's moving through. So therefore what we express is simultaneously not only impacting our body, but together, if all the cells are giving expression to that, the amplification that occurs when 74 trillion cells speak together as this one voice that amplifies out is different, and therefore also impacting this whole field around you, around me, around us. And therefore, that is for me what light weaving is through expressing the very sound that travels through the light strands around us, or weaving the expression through the vibration of the words that's soft and loving and gentle. It's weaving that in, through us and around us into being. And therefore we become living expressions of love. Firstly, and secondly, we are grounding that in here, because it's weaving through this whole field here. Thank you. Thank you. Sending you so much love in all its expressions, in silence and in word. And therefore remember the power of your word as the waves and the vibration not only move through you, but also through the fields around you, and therefore are felt and impacted simultaneously in your physical body, your galactic body, your universal, in your cosmic body, and therefore you are influencing directly the whole one cosmic body, because everything that you are expressed are heard simultaneously throughout the whole cosmos through this very vibration that's coming out of you, simultaneously all dimensional directions. And when it's a word of love and truth, and that is what the cosmos is experiencing. When it's something that's incoherent with your resonance, it not only impacts you, but it's felt, but it forms a contraction somewhere outside of you. So let us all together create these coherent sonic fields of our soul's resonance and expression as we all come into harmonic resonance with the very field of Gaia, and together therefore ground the consciousness of love and peace. And together all these different places where we are on the on Gaia, grounding and anchoring that in, so that the very sound field, to this auric field, this very atmosphere around us, around Gaia, is one of love, is one of the message that you choose to ground you. It becomes your emanation, your aura. You know, when, I'm sure you've heard or experienced many times, when someone walks into a room, you feel their aura, you feel their presence. It's because of this field that they are emanating, which is a reflection of the energy which they are anchored in. And let's choose anew. Let's let go of all these old stories that we were anchored in, and let's create through this very exquisite cosmic photonic living light sound fields that we are. Let's create new sounds of love, of beauty, of joy, anything. It's through this very resonance and vibrations of your being. So that when you walk into, first of all, when you walk around in your home, what are you grounding? What are you through your emanation grounding here? And then when you walk into places with others, what are the atmosphere of your being, the field, your aura that you're bringing there and grounding there through your presence, so that together all this, I'm just seeing all those auric fields of love as we are walking around on the planet, which is supporting then the emanation of Gaia as this very living field of love emanating out into the solar system, galaxies and universes, into the one cosmic body and field of living light. Feels like that still wanted to flow through. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sending you so much love. Until the next time we see. Bye.